Hi.
Hi.
I'm Nick.
I'm Joe.
And we're HipStrings. Welcome to the 2022 Base12 Spinalong.
Yeah, it's lots of twos.
Yeah, lots of twos. I'm trying to think if there's going to be a time when there's going to be more twos. I don't think so.
No, we are at maximum twoage.
And this is the 4th time we've done this?
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, so we got to find other multiples of twos in here.
Mm-hmm.
But thank you for joining us. We're happy to have you here, whether or not you're spinning along with our Base12 Spinalong kit, or you're just here to enjoy the wonderful banter. This year we have. Should we talk about this year first or previous years?
Let's talk about this year.
Okay. So this year we have sent out these bags, which as has been the trend as of late. They're all custom-made bags. These are ones that, if you took a look at my Instagram, you can see that they were actually spray painted on here, as well with a screen print on the bottom. So I had a lot of fun making these.
They're all unique, right?
They are all unique. Actually, let's take a look at these. You can see the order of some of them have threads on them. The order of the colors is randomized. This is all hand done. So why don't you talk about what's inside the bag?
So what's inside the bag is a lovely form letter, basic instructions. It doesn't change much from year to year, but just so you know, so we do base 12 because it's a secular type of countdown. And we want you to learn something. So we're teaching you different numerical systems, and we're teaching you the same one over and over and over again. So base 12, it's like binary or a base 10 system, except there's 12 digits, right? Is that the right words?
So like base 10 has 10 digits, yeah.
Yeah.
Base 12 has 12 digits. So instead of going 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then starting again, you go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, A, B.
And then start over again.
So you got to do a little bit of conversion, because A is the equivalent of 10, and B is the equivalent of 11, and then 1, 0 is the equivalent of 12. So we'll keep you up on that.
But it's useful because base 12 is divisible by 2 and 3 and 4. So there are 2 envelopes in the package. One of them is big.
Don't open that.
Don't open this one.
Unless you
it
want
is
spoilers.
the spoiler. It will tell you what all the fibers actually are at the end, or at the beginning if you want to spoil it. There's also a small. I don't think there's one in my bag. I think there's one in your bag.
Is there? Because I've been looking around and I don't see.
Oh, I got it.
I think you have all the envelopes. There we go.
And then there's a small envelope that has a sticker on it, which contains a D12, and it has the instruction for how to do this in the random bar pull way, which is what Nick will be doing. So that's his.
Now, we do have one little issue for you, because this is a 12-sided die in base 10, not in base 12. So you will not find the A and B on here. If you get a 10 on this, you don't open bag 10, you open bag A, and et cetera, et cetera.
Yes.
So, and if you mix that up, it's not a big deal.
It's
right?
not the end of the world. I will be spinning in order, as I always do.
I normally have my big fluffy die, and I don't. That's
Just wait.
upstairs now.
I need this so I can tell everybody what they've got
For the first day.
for the first day.
Okay. Actually, I've got one that's open. If you don't want to bother with.
It's easily
There we
open.
go. Okay.
Okay. So day 1 is cloud blue hand-carded bat. It is 70% merino wool, 10% mulberry silk, 10% viscose from bamboo, and 10% tussa silk. And now I have to go digging.
I have to go digging too. It's going to be the last one in the box, isn't it? It really will be. Oh my God, it was. Ha! Got it.
Finally.
Yeah, you guys
It's the
don't
last
get to.
place you look.
If it wasn't, then you wouldn't keep looking. Next time I look for something, I'm just going to keep looking after I found it. And you'll be like, what are you doing? Isn't it there? Yeah, I found it.
I just need to
I'm
keep
just
looking.
going to keep looking.
All right.
All right.
So hand-carded bat. light, fluffy. A nice, like, periwinkle.
And I can't talk about mine yet.
And Nick can't talk about his.
It's like Bruno. We don't talk about Bruno.
So I'm just fluffing this up a bit, and then I'm going to strip it in half. Just
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah,
for
I'm gonna
easier.
do the same thing.
Oh.
Do like
Fiber
we've learned
management.
all sorts of different techniques.
Yeah.
Over
In
the
the
time of doing this.
How to win.
Well,
I mean-
you have your main cheating skill right now.
Yeah. I put
Because
the woolly winder on my wheel, which in previous years I have not used a wheel that I had a woolly winder for.
now there's also the element that I have 3 times of the year that I spin. This is the main one, probably the longest period that I spin continuously for Base12. The second most consistent one is whenever I'm wearing a T-Rex outfit. So at SSK, at Maryland Sheep and Wool, at Indian Knit and Spin, I have probably logged more hours spinning on camera and in a T-Rex outfit than anything else. Speaking of which, I had a nice little session at SSK where I taught people how to spin in a T-Rex outfit. And there's actually some important things to learn about. So we've been talking that I should make that a YouTube video at some point in time.
Yeah.
The third time that I spin actually is working very, very slowly on a singles for a shawl that I'm going to make, or a poncho. What do we call it, a poncho?
A rauna.
A what?
Rauna.
Rauna, okay. Describe
Like
the
what
Rauna.
Obi-Wan wears in the latest Obi-Wan show.
It's like a cool poncho, like a futuristic poncho.
You take 2 strips of fabric, you join them where it sits like on your back, and then you have 2 sides that come over on towards the front, and you can wrap those around your neck.
Yeah. So, anyway, I'm going to be, I've been working on one of those from, there was an alpaca fleece that we got, I don't know how many years ago.
We don't talk about that. That was children ago.
Children ago. Unique units, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, so I've been slowly working on that, and Jill has promised for my Christmas present that she's going to warp a loom for me, so I got to finish spinning that up. But yeah, I have very specified spinning times. So I should, now that I've rambled long enough, I should actually go to the comments because we have comments. So Kathleen says, day 2, we'll add another more 2s. So that's right. Actually, today is not the most 2s. Tomorrow will be the most 2s.
Yes.
And then we're going to have to, like, find out.
No, dates. Well, no, because there is no 12. Yeah.
And 12 wouldn't be more 2s than 2.
No.
We need to figure out what the date is on.
Yeah, that's what I was.
You were trying to
the
figure.
last couple of days are in the 20s.
Oh, there'll be day 22.
There will be date December 22nd.
That's one more day than the second day. Okay. We're going way too deep on this thing.
Yeah, and
All
I'm
right.
having serious wheel setup issues.
Good.
I
Good.
just changed the head on this from being on the overdrive.
That's
to the
what you
regular
get for
thing,
using a
and-
woolly winder.
And it's having weird pulling, and I can't get the tension in a sweet spot. It also does not help that besides doing massive core spinning, all my other spinning has been super fine on high-speed heads.
Yeah.
And that will not win me any races.
Good. I'm liking how all of this is going. Hollis says, hello, fun friends from Hot Springs National Park, Arkansas.
I want to be in Hot Springs right now.
Yeah? Like, are you actually spinning in a hot spring? Because that would be
I don't think that would work.
Interesting.
The humidity would be...
Well, if you're spinning
Maybe
flax.
flax, yes.
Yeah. Like digging deep for that reference.
Yeah.
No Flies says, what is supposed to be in the small envelope? Mine has teal wool.
Hmm? That's your sample. Because I give free samples with everything.
But
There
that wouldn't
should
be
in-
that wouldn't be in the bag. It would be in the shipping.
I
right?
don't know.
Did you accidentally stick it in the bag?
Maybe.
Okay.
But there should be a super teeny tiny envelope that has your
Where did I
D12.
throw my D12? Yeah, so
It's like a 2-inch by 2-inch envelope.
and it
I know
says
there's been
it says
quite
random
a
barber pole
number.
on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's been a number of people who've been like, I don't know where my random barber pole envelope is. I'm like, it's the really small one that just contains a die.
All right, and then we've got Amy says, just for the record, I dig like Nick.
Oh, the Muppet like animal.
What?
You're throwing everything
Oh,
everywhere.
digging into the bag. Yeah,
Yes.
sorry. That was just. I've got a memory like a goldfish, which apparently is still longer than that of my son.
Yes.
So yes, no, that was fun. I took me a while to get the Muppet reference you gave there, though.
Yeah, I also had to tie on a new drive band today.
And No Fly said, by the
Break
time we
band.
referenced, we actually got to it, she said, oh, haha, I finally found the other small envelope with the die. You just need to dig harder, right? And Dave, doing the math here, saying day 2 is also on a Tuesday.
Ah, lots of twos.
So that brings us up to the day that
Day
is
2
on the 22nd.
on a Tuesday. Yeah.
But the 22nd has the same number of 2s. So now
Oh.
we've got 2 more days to celebrate numbers of 2s. And then we got to remember,
Oh
like,
God, what have I done?
What?
My tension is just really off.
I am so
This
happy
is like
about
the
this.
first time. I know what I need.
What do you need?
I need lube.
Hey-o.
I don't think I have any back here. I don't usually spin here.
Well,
I bet
If
if
you
I
want-
lubed my screw, this would go much smoother.
this is
And
supposed
this
to be a
one-
children's podcast.
No.
No.
It is not marked safe for children.
Oh, good. It doesn't make it. Anyway, I am so sorry. Sorry, not sorry. So, back to spinning.
Yeah.
We should talk a little bit about why we are so incredibly warm right now with our shawls.
So because there might be people who haven't done this before.
Yeah.
This is our largest like group it's like almost twice as many people as last year bought Base12 this year. So that means there's noobs. So what we're wearing around our necks are projects that we made with former Base12 yarn. It is not last year's because last year's projects are still in progress because we had the fun idea of doing fingering weight or lace weight yarn.
Oh,
some
so
people's
I do
faces.
have my
And
project that I'm
doing
working
all
on.
over color work fingering weight sweaters.
So last year's Base 12, I'm going to let you catch up since you need lube. Last year's Base 12, this is what I ended up with. And so this is quite a good length, but it's not enough to make a sweater. So I'm actually pairing it up with one of our signature blends, and I don't even remember which one this was.
It's buoy.
Was this buoy?
Yeah.
Okay. Pairing it up with some buoy that actually ended up being right about the same grist and everything, and working on a color work sweater. So that's obviously why it is not anywhere near done yet. It's been now almost a year since that was completed. And maybe by next year I'll have onto the sleeves. But then I'll let you go ahead and describe the shawls.
So this, I think, I forget which year.
That was the first year.
This is first year of
Yeah.
Base 12.
Yeah.
And we both have night shift shawls that we paired our Base 12 with a neutral. Nick used the Base 12 as his main color. I used it as the contrast. And then Nick's is a bit denser than mine because I'm a looser knitter, and yeah, I'm a looser knitter.
Yeah. So what ended up happening too with that is because I used it as the main color, it's a little bit smaller, but you can see that it is very much this wonderful,
Lots of colors.
colorful shift. And I think, yeah, I definitely did like the random barber pulling because you can see close up. There's somewhere
You've done random barber pulling every year, and I've
contrasty.
done.
And I'm going to
in
take that
order.
off now so that I can show off my cool new shirt, which you can buy one too on our Redbubble store. I'll hail the spinning T-Rex. Going back to the comments, Dave is suggesting I go to Finland to get you some lube.
That'd be a bit far.
Well, remember, it doesn't exist.
Yeah, well, then I'll get no lube.
And then Hollis is telling us that the entire city is within the national park. No hot springs there at her home, though.
Oh.
Yeah, I got nothing on that one.
I just want to be in a hot spring.
Yeah.
It's
I've
not
always-
even like February yet.
You know, obviously spinning doesn't work very mechanistically with any sort of being in water. The humidity is sure for flax, but like putting the wheel in the water is just physically not going to work. But for some reason, like I always, when I go take a bath, I always want to knit. And I know that's never going to work too, but I just like, I'm like, can I put my knitting in a bag and then like do something like I don't even.
Just put your entire self in a bubble.
No, but
Float
then
in the bath.
then you're not actually in the bath. Like I want to have the relaxation of laying down in a bath and then also being able to knit. And it's one of those things that I wish I could do, and I don't know. If anybody has any weird ideas on how to make that happen, I can experiment. Emily asks, do you plan on chain plying or doing a 2-ply?
I will chain ply because I learned my lesson from last year. And 2-ply is way too thin.
And I have typically 2-plied. So on day 6, I will start a new bobbin. Is it day 6 or day 7?
Day 7.
Day 7, sorry. On day 7, yeah, math is hard, says the engineer. On day 7, I'll start a new bobbin, and that allows me to just do the 2-ply. I'm.
Nick usually spins thicker than me,
I usually
so
spin
we
a little bit
usually end
thicker.
up with the same grist.
Yeah.
Or a similar grist. So we can do matchy-matchy projects.
Yeah. Right now we're hearing our rabbit upstairs doing who knows what. But it sounds like they're moving furniture.
Pretty sure they aren't.
I don't know, that rabbit. If you've ever seen Monty Python Quest for the Holy Grail, the white rabbit with the beady little eyes that kills everyone, I'm pretty sure that was inspired by our rabbit.
You know, how many years ago?
Yeah. No, our rabbit's just immortal. And we are just the latest to try to appease that rabbit god. I told you there's a... Sorry, Jill's look was because there was a loud thump upstairs. I told you, she's moving
I'm
furniture.
not sure if that's a rabbit or a child.
Yeah. All right. So, as we are spinning, Dave asks, why is our rabbit in Finland? Do you want to explain the Finland joke?
No, I don't
for the
even
noobs?
remember where it got started.
Well, it's the whole thing that
I don't remember why we think Finland doesn't exist.
it's because the population is within the margin of error
Oh,
for
yeah.
the census.
Ah, yes.
So, when you're doing a survey, you always have plus or minus a certain number of people, right? And the margin of error for the census population of Finland is greater than the actual population number. Therefore, there is a statistical probability that it just doesn't exist. I don't know if their population has grown or if they
Or they've improved their
statistical significance, but
they've started sampling more of the population so they can reduce their errors.
Also, by the way, if you just don't move your hook, you can kind of pretend that you got a woolly winder.
It doesn't quite work that way.
I'm going to see how ridiculously tangled my singles are once that happens. Okay, so I should have started this with thinking about some particular type of single thickness that I wanted to achieve. Because, like...
Oh, that's right. We usually, like, have a wraps per inch to a control card and track things.
Yeah,
like
and at least talk about it.
Well, I'll bring one tomorrow.
Yeah.
You can use one of our very handy control cards to track your wraps per inch, because most of the fibers are, you should be able to spin them all about the same. There is some difference because there are baths, which is a carded prep, and the other fibers are comb top. Some of those comb tops are hand-dyed comb top, a blend of 70% gray merino and 30% tussa silk. And others are various HipStrings signature blends, but they generally are in the neighborhood of 75% merino, or close, and 25% silk. So there may be times if you're trying to get a really consistent yarn, it is useful to use something like a control card to track wraps per inch while you're spinning.
And there are a lot of, you like to experiment and push people's boundaries, right? And so there are things with neps in them. There's things that you're kind of intending to get a texture, right?
I was gentler with the bats this year. They're a little bit smoother than previous year's bats.
But still, you don't go to a tasting to just try what you're comfortable with, right? So be patient with us. Be patient with yourself. This is an excellent time to learn new things and get exposed to new experiences, like going to Finland.
We should go on a cruise sometime.
Well, that came out of left field. What?
To Finland.
What if people who go to cruises to Finland, they're just like, well, sorry, it's closed because the population actually fell below the confidence interval.
No, I'm just showing off being ambidextrous.
Okay, I'm confused. I actually don't think I've ever seen you spin with your other hand.
With left hand forward?
Yeah.
Well, I was doing right hand forward. And now my tension's all messed up.
Well, yeah, because you're switching it up. So why did you switch it up? Your hand just got tired?
Yeah, I'm just bored.
Keeping it exciting.
Yeah.
You got to do it with your feet next.
No.
No?
We're not spinning with my feet.
I mean, technically you are, somewhat.
I hope you're all scowling at him as well.
As you should.
Not if you have an e-spinner. See, at least I didn't bring the Falcon down.
Yeah, that would have left me in the dust.
I tried to play fair.
So do you want to talk about what wheels we're spinning on?
Oh, so yes, we do have different wheels we're spinning on than normal. You spun on that one last year.
Yeah.
Nick is spinning on a Magicraft Suzy Pro. Alpaca. Wyatt has a black wheel. And he's spinning with like the regular Delta.
I don't think they can even see my wheels, so
yeah,
they won't know that it's black. But
I am spinning on Magicraft Aura because the wheel that I usually used for Base12, I exchanged for a Magicraft Rose earlier this year. But all my other wheels are set up for specialty spinning right now. Even this one was set up for specialty spinning earlier today. And I wasn't about to spin on the Sidekick because it's a lot slower and Nick would beat me every night.
yeah.
So now we're on kind of equal footing. We have similar ratios on these two wheels. Similar drive, I think almost the exact same drive wheel size.
Yeah?
So
Yeah. Mine's black, so it goes faster.
yes.
If I paint it red, it'll go even faster.
Yes. That's how that works.
Yep. That's what redshift is, right?
Yes.
Oh man, this is like one of those things where attributing Lord of the Rings quotes to Obi-Wan Kenobi or something, right? just the ever so slight nerd trolling where if people don't quite know what you're talking about, it sounds completely reasonable, but those that know what you're talking about, it enrages them. Dave suggests change things up and treadle with your hands and draft with your feet, right? There was I don't know where I saw it. I think I saw it on
You saw somebody
Reddit.
was knitting with their feet, right?
Oh yes, there was. Actually, that was really cool. This person, they did not have ability. They had hands, but they did not have ability to control their hands with as much as they needed to for knitting. So they actually learned how to knit with their feet, and it was actually very impressive. It was one of those things that, like, you think this is impossible, and they were obviously not knitting as fast as somebody would knit with their hands, but they were doing it very skillfully.
They were knitting about as fast as I knit with my hands, English style.
Yeah, yeah. We'll have to see if we can find some keywords or something to share it, because that's actually impressive. No, what I was thinking about was the absolute ridiculous person where still can't tell if it was a fake video or not, but they were crocheting with their tongue.
What?
Didn't I show you this one?
I don't think so. I
See,
would have remembered this.
I'm not clear. It could very well be a reversed
Was it
video.
a fever dream?
No, this was actually. I shared it with some of the riffraff. I'm not sure if it was a video of a crochet chain that somebody reversed, where they undid it in their mouth and then reversed it so it looked like they were crocheting, or if they actually crocheted with their tongue. But as I was sharing it around, it's very clear
Oh gosh,
that
you're
it would
almost
get.
done with your first half.
Yes, first half.
What?
Where's the other half?
No! I'm gonna make you knit on my sweater.
Okay, we have similar gauge.
I thought you split.
I did. This is the second half.
No!
You can go rewind the video and you can see the point where I just slyly was like, doo-doo-doo.
Well, I will properly lube my wheel before tomorrow, and we will see how things go.
Yeah.
'Cause I am fighting with tension.
I am also spinning like almost twice as thick as you, because you were going dental floss thin.
Well, that's what I've been spinning lately.
Yeah. Now I'm doing my natural spin. I should really like just measure what my natural spin is. I don't know why. This is like pretty consistently. I don't know. Do you have is your eye calibrated? Can you
No, my
estimate
eye is not that well
Raph's fridge?
calibrated. It's been a while since I spun with a control card at hand. I've got to train my eye and everything before I start teaching next year.
Oh, by the way, Hollis is saying they're spinning with their somewhat new Daedalus Sparrow.
Ah. I know lots of people have gotten Daedalus wheels this year.
Yeah, and if you are spinning with us tonight, definitely put what you were spinning on in the chat.
I got my Falcon at Pliaway, and it does things that treadle wheels can't, which is why it gets to stay around. So I'm currently spinning Yak Silk on it, and it likes to munch on cotton. I got it for spinning thin, high twist stuff.
Okay, when you say munch, I would assume that's, I mean, the way you said it, it sounds like it's a positive thing, but the phrasing makes it sound rather negative.
Okay. Evanita posted, reposted one of my shop updates because I finally had hand-dyed cotton in the shop for like the first time in forever. And she put a comment on it that, Jill has Falcon food in her shop.
Yeah. Falcon food, indeed. Yeah, I guess if you've got, I mean, now I'm just like, my brain is digging into that imagery because, like, yeah, if you've got a wheel with an orifice, so you're sticking it in the mouth and it's nom nom. Cookie Monster. Now I want like to put a Cookie Monster face on the wheel. All right, we've got a couple of other comments on what people are spinning on. Let's see. Amy is spinning on a dataless Starling. Lots of dataleses. Diane said that they finished their day 1 on their Hanson Mini Spinner Pro. And Kathleen is not spinning tonight, but will be spinning their Base 12 on their dataless starting later this week. Aikens PA spun on their Kromsky Sonata. Lots of really cool wheels. Also, I think...
Are you sure you actually spun it all?
I am sure. Would you like to weigh my bobbin?
No, that would slow me down.
Yeah. Wow. Do you want me to spin your other half?
No! I'm just gonna like imagine that this was a really fat bat.
Yeah. 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 Well, I mean, again, you're also spinning much thinner. When we actually have the opportunity to get a LiveStream tool, which I'm trying to look around to see if there's one here from before.
No, I
but
think
don't
I've
think
put
so.
them all away.
Putting things away? What?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That is okay. Yeah, we can definitely compare our reps per inch and then give some sort of handicap.
Here, have some knitting.
Yeah, maybe it shouldn't go in front of your spinning for me to do it. Okay, am I just knitting like
In the round.
straight up in the round? Oh my
Yeah,
god,
you got,
you've
like-
got these tiny little things.
Yes. Oh
Okay.
yeah, I forget you have huge hands.
Thank you. I guess better than tiny hands. All right, maybe I'll talk a little bit about this because, so these are, who makes these needles?
Xiaogu.
These are Xiaogus.
Shorties.
And
They're 3-inch tips.
I mean, like my
They also make
finger
2-inch
is long.
tips. There are smaller ones.
My pinky is longer than these things. And so when I'm gonna try and knit with this, but like, usually when I knit, I use the back of my hand as leverage to control everything. And here I'm like, what is this, knitting for ants? And I say that I'm actually going okay with it right now. But it's just feels super weird. So Dave is plying
Base 12 from last year on S10. You know you had like a year to get that done.
Hey, don't craft shame. What are we talking about? How long
Yeah.
it's taking us to do how many of these things? Yeah. And then Emily is spinning on their Sparrow tonight, trying to determine how they want to spin their Base 12 first. It's interesting, you know.
There is a very lovely color progression this year, rather than a kind of random color progression where they're like it was last year.
Unlike the bag. Or the bag has a random color progression.
Yeah. I seriously did pick the colors for this year by going and pulling out my colored pencils. And you're like, I like these.
Yeah. The let's see.
As evidenced by my wardrobe tonight.
Gee, which colors do you like, Jill?
Yeah, it's really hard to tell.
Yeah. Dave says he knows, and I'm not sure what that was in reference to.
That he had all year to do this.
Oh, yes, okay. Well,
I will rib Dave. I won't rib other people, but Dave, I know we're good.
any and all Daves, actually.
Yeah.
There's a whole sect
I'm sure
of,
there's some Dave out there that I wouldn't. I have to know them
Really?
first.
I don't know, all Daves seem to be equivalently awesome, so
Yeah,
they can
but
all stand a bit
I
of
don't
ribbing.
like making stereotypes about people. So I like to get to know them before I,
I'm okay with stereotyping Daves. They are my favorite people.
It's a positive stereotype.
Yeah. Emily is asking, what is this project?
It's the sleeve for a, I forget which heart.
It's a sweater.
It's one of the sweaters from a heart on your sleeve book pattern. It's the one that's a hoodie. I think it's Lionheart, but I'm not 100% sure. It is going to be a black hoodie for our eldest child.
Yeah.
And that is love.
Because it's
But it's knit
black knitting.
with my Superwash Target Sport, which I was very afraid was going to be no more because the mill discontinued it. But because sometimes fiber art people are awesome, and I know lots of fabulous other fiber artists, we put together a co-op purchase, and they did a small run for us. So Superwash Target Sport lives again, and I have more of it arrived just as I was using up my last bits of it.
Perfect timing.
Yeah.
It's almost like you planned it.
But it's one of my favorite yarns. It is soft enough. It is super durable, machine washable, makes great socks. It's a really beefy sport weight, so you can also knit sweaters at a DK gauge. I like 5.5 stitches the inch. So it's a good, well-behaved yarn.
These needles, like, okay, I'm actually able to knit right now, but I feel like it's this like dainty little activity. Like it is not.
Do you need to put your pinkies up and
Yes,
and get some
actually.
tea?
Well, and I'm using I'm kind of using my pinky as
Yeah.
leverage on the cable, but like, yeah, no, seriously, it feels like, I don't know, like I'm building a ship in a
I
bottle
mean,
or
it's
something.
better than DPNs, and it's better than Magic Loop, and it's better than 2 circs for me. Like, I love little circs for making sleeves.
To each their own. Dave is saying he hasn't finished his base 12 from last year, just plying mine. So I'm guessing that's Meredith speaking.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, but also Ashley is saying that she hasn't finished hers from last year either.
The thing is, it's only 6 ounces. It's not like we're crazy people sending people 100 grams every day for 24 days.
You seem like you had someone in mind when you're referring to
No,
that.
there was an advent calendar that was like, they've changed their mind, and they now are sending an ounce a day for 24 days.
Okay.
With like 4 ounces at the end. Which is more reasonable. But half ounce a day, as Nick showed,
well, that's the other thing.
can be done in a reasonable amount of time.
Because it is a base 12 calendar.
It can be done whenever.
It can be done right now. It can be done whenever.
We're just only promising to entertain you right now.
Yes. But it could also be started at the beginning of December, and you do one every 2 days.
Yeah.
It could be done as a countdown to your birthday. If you really like Independence Day, or you could spin one for every hour of a Lord of the Rings movie.
That would be a really good pairing.
Yeah. So absolutely, like, yes, we sell it now. We do our podcast now, but do whenever you want. Let's see. Stephanie says not spinning tonight, but she is knitting with Bowie DK. Hell yeah.
Another one of our awesome yarns.
That one's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Oh yeah, because I have lots of it. The joys of doing your own custom yarns. Minimum orders.
Like, I got one round on this.
Yeah.
If I had like decent sized needles, I might have actually like had 3 or 4 rounds by now.
Get smaller hands.
And Amy is also done. And last year's yarn is done, but hasn't been made into anything yet. Yeah, no, that's the. Did we? I think for our first year and our second year, we did make it before the base 12 was done. But the third year, obviously, we still haven't finished those. JK Knits for You says, my friend and I have been doing one every 2 days since the first, and we're both behind now. See, no shame. No shame at all.
Well, it might take me till tomorrow to finish this. So.
Do we have a time where we have to stop? No, we're still well within our typical 45 minutes.
Yeah, you did that super fast.
I know. I don't know what is wrong with me. I don't know. Maybe I'm spinning a little bit thicker than usual. This had a lot of slubs in it too.
It did.
Or not slubs, but what's the word? Nips?
Neps.
Neps?
It's a sorry, soft one.
Nips and chains, what?
No. Oh, God.
Hey, you said this wasn't a kids podcast.
Yes. You save that for other stuff.
So.
Which makes it sound worse than I mean it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna, I'm gonna leave that right there. I'm not gonna pick it up. Not touching it. We're good. We're good here. So hopefully, we're sounding okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully the video's okay. Same camera, different streaming system. Hopefully in the next couple of days we're actually upgrading our camera because we were lazy and only remembered what we needed to get.
We forgot what day it was and how close it was to the 12th.
Yeah, this year's been going by a little bit fast. Let's see, what do we got here? Kathleen says, I'm probably going to binge spin mine over the weekend. Did another 6 ounces bat vent last week as I try to cram stuff around my travel schedule. Yeah.
Well, that works.
But that's another good reason to get portable wheels, your e-spinners, I do really love
Spindles. I know somebody who is spinning Base12 on supported spindles.
Really?
Yeah.
Kudos to them. No, I was going to say I really like the Sidekick because of its portability.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not going to fly, but it's. I mean, it'll go flying.
It's going to be so much fun. Spinning cotton on that.
Oh yeah.
At Fly.
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, shameless self-promotion.
As if this entire podcast isn't a shameless self-promotion.
Yeah. Next year I'm teaching at Pliaway, which is in Kansas City, October 19th to the 22nd, or no, 17th to the 22nd. I'm teaching on
Pliaway.
Yeah, something.
That's cool. They've got the internet.
Yeah.
They clearly have the internet.
Yes. I'm teaching on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And I am teaching getting started on support spindle, spinning cotton on the wheel, spinning for consistency, and knitting with hand spun. And I think there are spots still left in classes except the spinning for consistency class. But there are lots of other amazing instructors at Pliaway, and it's always a great time. So
that is the only show that I can't. Well, next year there'll be another show I can't go to, but it's the only show that I've never been able to go to, and I've heard only amazing things about it.
Mm-hmm. And then I'm also going to be teaching at Maryland Sheep and Wool. On schedule's not out, registration isn't open yet. It is for Pliaway. But I think registration's going to open in January or February for classes. There I'm teaching supported spindle. So much fiber out there, how do I choose? Which is about fiber selection for projects. I'm teaching intersection of fiber prep and color. And I'm doing my fiber speed dating class, which is you come in, we're going to spin 9 different fiber blends, and we're going to talk about first impressions and make guesses, and then I'm going to describe the blend to you and change some people's minds.
Now, if you've taken that class, Jill, before...
Because I taught it at SSK. It will be different.
I was going to ask, is it going to be different?
It will be different.
So excellent. And you will find, just like any speed dating, you will find things you hate. Mm-hmm. Maybe not things you hate, but maybe things you like less.
There is going to be something in there you would not like spinning. I promise.
But you might find your true love.
Yeah, you might. Something you never would have considered.
I don't know how I just promoted speed dating, considering I've never actually done actual speed dating, but okay. Let me dig myself out of that hole with other comments. JK Knits for You says, I finished last year's by the beginning of this year. Great.
That's solid.
That's very solid. Ashley and JK Knits for You are both telling us that we sound and look great. So,
yay.
Good purchase. And Emily Witt says fiber speed dating is such a great class. So there you go. You heard it here first. Yeah.
I mean, it's me geeking out about fiber blends for 3 hours. Kind of a passion of mine.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. I may get a little excited when I'm in a room with fiber people.
As we say, fiber people are the best people.
So, yeah. And then in March, so I'm not vending at Flyaway next year because I'm being nice to myself.
How dare you?
And not teaching and vending at the same time after driving 14 hours across the country.
Yeah, no, that might be a smart move.
I will be vending at the Daedalus Retreat, which is March 1st through 3rd in Lexington, Kentucky, and the marketplace will be open to the public.
All right, so that's three shows you'll be at.
Yeah.
With only one of me being there. Sad
Yeah.
face. Yeah.
I'm a grown-up now. I go and do things without you.
You don't need the chaperone.
I don't need to be chaperoned anymore.
Yeah.
I don't usually get myself into trouble.
Well, I mean, I think the risk of tornadoes on those places is lower at that time of year, so.
We'll see.
Which, that was a specific reference to our wonderful experience at Shenandoah Valley Fiber Festival this past year.
Where there was a tornado watch.
Yep. That was
A skein of yarn got wet.
That was the only actual casualty. A skein of yarn got, and it wasn't even all the way wet. It was slightly wet, but
it fell on the wet ground.
the situation was quite amusing. So there we were, vending. It was great. Maybe a little bit windy, and people, the vendors are around us are watching the weather forecast and saying, "Hey, by the way, you know, there's going to be a severe thunderstorm coming through." And we're like, okay. And then it was looking really, really bad, getting dark, and we're like, okay, well, let's get the kids all packed up, and we'll get them in the car, and so that, you know, they don't get rained on, they don't get wet. And like, as soon as we got into the car, and Jill's at the booth, get a note that there is a tornado warning, and we're like,
Tornado watch.
Yeah, whichever one was the more extreme.
No, warning is there is a tornado.
No, okay, so there was a watch first, and then it went to a warning. Anyway, I'm like, okay, well, being in a car is probably not the best place when there's a tornado coming through, so let's go find actual shelter. So we come by, we close up the booth, we go to some actual shelter, and we're huddling with the rest of the vendors.
Real shelter.
Yeah.
There was a roof, there were no walls.
And thankfully, no tornado came by.
It lasted like 15 minutes.
Very heavy rain for 15 minutes.
Yes.
And then
There's a lesson in making sure you secure your tent
the best
to the ground.
Yes, because one of the vendors had their tent just fly away, and then they caught it, but all of their stuff got wet. But thankfully, or not thankfully, the best part, the most ridiculous part was sun comes out, we unzip everything, and literally within 5 minutes, like as we're like making sure everything is dry and unzipping the tent and everything, we had somebody wanting to buy something. And I'm pretty sure they were just in one of the bars and didn't even notice what was going on until they came out and were wondering like, why is everything wet? But that was great, and we were ready to go. So, but it was just that funny sort of scenario of like, fiber people, yeah, no actual tornado, come on, let's just buy something. Loved it. Amy says, you watch until you see something, then you warn people. That's how I remember. Yep. No, so when we were in our shelter, we were like, okay, kids, each one of you face a different direction. If you see the sky turn green, yell.
Yeah.
which is one of the good ways to spot a tornado. It's obviously not the only way, but supposedly the tornadoes will kick up a lot of grass, and that turns the sky green.
Leaves.
So, grass and leaves and stuff.
I have hope
You have hope?
that I'm going to finish.
Well, I assume you will finish at some point in time. I am on my 3rd round of this sleeve, so you can tell how,
yeah. I've
how
got a
slow
while.
that's going.
You won't finish the sleeve before I finish the
I won't even
fabric.
get to what I'm assuming is an increase.
No. Nope, there's no more increases.
Oh, okay. I was very worried. I was like, do I have to count how many things
Nope,
in
you don't have
between
to
these?
count.
Okay,
It's
cool.
like 30 rounds you need to do. Or no, it's like 25 now.
Yeah, I am not going to get to 25.
Yeah. I think we're safe.
Yeah.
Just keep my gauge.
Well, I mean, I think I'm doing a good job.
You're a little loose. Just gonna tease you.
I earned it. I deserve it. Okay, well, I can go tighter. I have to consciously, like, okay, I'm knitting. I have to relax. The fact that knitting is supposed to be a relaxing activity is, you know,
Beyond you right now?
a constant source of humor in my mind, especially for beginner knitters. I have never seen somebody more upset than a beginner knitter. Actually, that's not true, but it's up there.
Okay.
Top 5.
What's up with my tension? Yeah, my screw needs some lube.
I guess I could go to Finland now, but then I have to disconnect the mic, and that's a big mess.
So I will warn people, if you take my classes this spring, there's going to be a lot of talk about lube. Because I've come to the conclusion that not enough people use enough lube on their wheels. And will totally mess up your tension.
Oh, you are very
take
passionate
up.
about even wheels that have sealed bearings. You talk about, yeah, no, there's certain parts that you still need to lube.
Yeah.
On the
I lube parts that, like, the makers say don't lube.
You
I
love,
don't lube sealed bearings.
you love to lube the shaft,
Yes.
right? Lubing the shaft is
It's
very
very
important.
important. You don't want friction between your flyer shaft and your bobbin.
Yeah, yeah. And then yes, no, you don't.
Even
lube the
if
sealed,
even if your bobbin has sealed bearings.
you don't lube the sealed bearings, but if your
No.
bobbin has sealed bearings, there still is a contact point between
the
sealed
bearing and the
the
flyer shaft, and that should get lubed.
Yeah. So, invest in some good lube,
I prefer Super Lube,
which is actually a brand.
which is a brand,
And
and it's the clear stuff. I've tried the opaque stuff, and it is not good.
I was super surprised because I was in a machine shop or something, and they had Super Lube, and I'm like, why do you have spinning wheel lube? It is so good that it's not just for spinning wheels apparently.
Yeah. I like the clear stuff.
Yeah. And Stephanie agrees, totally unironically, lube makes such a difference. Okay, we've already clarified that this is not for
Children.
children, but I will be skirting that edge.
Oh God.
I was
What
having
is going to come out of your mouth?
I was having a work meeting, and they were talking about buying weird things for aerospace applications. And apparently, the KY lube
Yeah.
is an excellent water-soluble lube for aerospace applications. So there are some facilities, you know, airplane repair facilities, that buy barrels of this stuff. And the discussions with purchasing.
Well, I mean, it doesn't break down latex, and
Yeah, like when you think about it from a scientific standpoint, it makes a lot of sense. But then you go and you talk to your purchasing department, and you're like, hey,
I need a barrel KY.
so I need a barrel of KY. Yeah, it's totally legit. I swear. Like, try having that conversation with your purchasing department. Stephanie says 1 year she bought gun oil because all she could find.
Yes, gun oil is
and the,
another lightweight.
and the
oil.
tiny applicator and the spam mail as that she gets is now insane. She likes the tiny applicator, but the spam mail she gets now is insane. Yeah. Yeah. Now I have to ask if KY lube is good for spinning wheels. Do you want your petroleum-based lubes?
It's what? It's silicone based.
It's water based. I don't know if it's silicone or what.
Yeah, but I think it's a silicone lubricant. Super Lube, the special thing, it has PTFE in it.
Yeah.
Which is Teflon.
I mean, KY is biocompatible, so you don't have to worry about your PFASs, right?
Yeah. Is PTFE a PFAS?
Yeah, Emily apparently just had the same conversation at work the other day. A 55-gallon drum of lube. It's apparently awfully
widespread.
common. And now I have to wonder, like, do they
How much
sell,
of their business?
How much of their business is for?
Did they start off as a different type of lubricant and then they figured out that it was biocompatible?
That I don't know which is more disturbing. One of those is more disturbing, but I don't know which one.
Definitely not shot tape.
Oh, yeah. I swear we are talking about knitting and spinning.
It is useful information.
Yep. So
So we'll have to get back to you on whether or not you can use.
But I also need to creepily look into the camera and say, so put in the chat, what's your favorite type of lube? For spinning.
For spinning.
In case I needed to clarify that.
We're gonna get a reputation.
We don't have one already?
I don't think we have this one.
Well, we're collecting them. Got to catch them all. We've got the nerdy reputation. We've got the technical reputation. We may as well get the dirty reputation. I don't know. We have a different one for every day. We'd be highly technical. We're gonna have our
We promise
control
you it
cards.
won't be like this tomorrow.
No, I can't promise anything. But we have our we'll have our control cards.
We'll talk about control tomorrow.
We'll have our we'll have our control cards, so we'll be highly technical tomorrow.
Yes, we will be highly technical tomorrow.
And so we can give a little bit of a preview on that in the fact that do you perchance need the nano control card for your spinning tomorrow?
Did you finish up cleaning up the artwork for that?
I did, and we lasered it, and I thought you said it was good.
I don't remember lasering it after you cleaned it up.
Okay, well I cleaned it up.
I didn't laser it. I need to laser it.
We're talking new product here. We've got our control card. We've got our precise control card, which then also has the macro and the micro version. But what's smaller than micro, you ask? Nano. It's not just for automatically getting NSF funding. It's also an actual technical term. Stephanie, by the way, says a whole new line of HipStrings merch has been born. I mean, I have some chemistry knowledge now. We could totally mix up a lube for you. Emily says there's a lube for that, which now needs to be a t-shirt. And Stephanie also suggests lube speed dating.
Now this needs to be like a Ply article. I need to test out different types of lube.
Well, how?
I think I could get JC on this.
How? Like, but you gotta see how far you can ride the line of like innuendo there, because that's like a legit publication, not like this podcast, right? Like, oh, that's my alarm for making sure I do my timesheet for work. Because I always forget to do that.
I love that you have it set for like 10 p.m. Be like, because you'll definitely be done with work by then.
Yeah. Yeah.
And still be awake.
Yeah. I also love the fact that I just said, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that right now. You know what I should be doing rather than knitting on this sweater is knitting
No, you should be knitting on that sweater.
No, but there's
No, you should be knitting on that sweater.
for my Base12 sweater.
Yeah, but you're at a weird point and
Yeah,
you
I'm
need
at a
help.
weird point. I do. You designed your own color pattern, and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna do this. Wait, what?
Yeah, I have a solution for you that's going to be way easier. So, you'll thank me.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't like the other solution. Is it the same as your other solution?
No, it's a new solution.
Okay.
It's vertical lines.
No, I didn't like that one.
You don't like my vertical line solution?
I mean, it's pretty, but it's not what you were going for with the rest of it. And I think I'd have to rip back everything. Jill was making her own pattern. Like, I don't know what we must have been drinking a lot last year. Because Jill was like, okay, we have hand spun yarn. I'm going to make a pattern from scratch for this hand spun yarn where we're both kind of sort of on the same size and we're
No, your well, it wouldn't have been so bad if your grist wasn't like your gauge wasn't an entire stitch off from mine.
well, but we also have the fact that like we're almost the same sweater size but not quite either. So
no, your gauge being off is what threw this for a whole loop because your yarn ended up being like almost lace weight.
okay. Anyway, so we're doing this thing where yeah, it was like let's make the pattern while we're knitting, because that seems like the best thing to do.
Don't.
Hey, you finished.
I finished.
Yay! All right, cheers. Okay. And now, apparently,
Oh yes.
we're grandparents because today's dad joke comes to you from our 7-year-old son. So I don't know what he's hiding about being a dad, but why does everybody like Frosty the Snowman?
Why?
Because he's so cool. It came from Christopher.
Your legacy.
I know. He has learned well. I'm going to see how many of these days I can get from jokes from him. Thank you for sticking around with us. Thank you for watching. Thank you for spinning. We really appreciate it. Hopefully we didn't scare you away. We'll be back again tomorrow.
And the day after that. And the day after that.
Yeah, until we're done with this.
Subscribe to the channel and you'll get better notifications
Oh my God,
of when the live stream is available.
Oh, no, you need to subscribe and then hit that bell, right? You need to watch YouTube videos because they say...
Apparently I don't.
Remember to subscribe and then hit that bell for notifications. Sorry, I kind of always wanted to do that, but also hate myself now for doing that.
But then like 20 people are going to sign up.
Yeah.
And like hit the bell and you're gonna be like, well, I guess I have to do that again.
Yeah. It's a self-feeding. So if you don't want me to do that again, don't wait. What?
No, please subscribe.
Okay. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
All right, where's that button? There we go.
That button.